Hey IceHogs fans, Dana Gray here. Happy to be with our new head coach, Jared Nightingale. Jared, welcome to week one. We made it. You've worn a lot of different hats in this building. You've worn the assistant coach hat, the defenseman, the captain. How excited are you to put on the head coaching cap this Saturday?
Yeah, I was thrilled to come here just to be, as a player, and then the opportunity to get into the American League as an assistant coach, and then obviously now, honestly, I feel really fortunate and blessed, and really thankful to be back in a place that I know.
Is the coaching game day any different than the player game day routine? Have you adapted that over the years?
Yes, I don't think I realized as a player you can kind of turn off the brain and get your pregame meal and a nap. Coach, it doesn't turn off. You're always thinking about it, how your team can get better. So yeah, it's a little bit, I'd say, sleepless nights, just on your mind all the time.
As a player, you were a defenseman. Is there a piece of your game, your style of play that you're proud of and that you try to instill in the players that you coach now?
I don't know if I'm the one to ask. I was really limited skill-wise. I think a strength of mine was my competitiveness. And I'd like to say I was resilient. I played only in the minors, and every year I was cut from a team. It never stopped me from wanting to play and keep getting better. It's definitely a trait that you want to instill in hockey players. I think the guys that, because you always face ups and downs and adversities. I think that's a huge trait. But yeah, hopefully the game, I got out at the right time with how skilled it is, and I would have been behind.
Did you think about coaching when you were playing? Was this something that you kept in the back of your head, or that you thought at any point in your career that, oh, maybe that's something I'd go into?
For sure. I've always looked up to coaches. My dad coached me growing up, Little League Baseball, and then he was my hockey coach. Both my brothers are coaches and involved in the game, and I've really, from a young age, I've looked up to coaches and kind of realized how big an impact they can have on a player's career. I know it's a great responsibility, but I think near the end of my career, I knew it was something that I'd want to chase and pursue.
You mentioned Jason with the Junior Sabres and Adam, who's at Michigan State.
Yep.
Do you guys have, like a text chain going? Do you guys keep in contact as far as obviously a brotherly relationship, but coaching things too, or different things that you guys are working through at your respective teams?
Yes, for sure. And I feel so lucky. Talked to Jason a lot. He's coaching the U team. He works for the Buffalo Sabres. He probably has a little bit more free time once the season starts with Adam, and college hockey's going nonstop. We talk at least once a week, but yeah, I'm talking to one of them or each of them weekly, and obviously those are two people that I've looked up to my whole life and definitely get ideas from.
I'm curious about what happened 12 months ago, because you were just finishing up another campaign of being an assistant here in Rockford, and I think fair to say had a great thing going. And you went and took a job in the ECHL with the South Carolina Stingrays and took a chance as that head coaching role. Can you tell me a little bit about what went through that decision process and how you decided to make that jump and take a chance on yourself?
Yeah, it wasn't something that I was looking and pursuing or applying for. Back 3-4 years ago when I didn't have a job, I was just let go from a team in the OHL, and I reached out to South Carolina and Rob Kincannon in an email. They were in need of a coach, and he was in the process of hiring somebody else, which was fine. But we got connected through that, and fast forward, their job opened up. And, that's one thing that was missing on my resume, head coaching experience. And I know, especially at this level, you have to have some experience. I thought there was a great opportunity, especially if you know anything about the ECHL and the South Carolina Stingrays. I think they set the bar. Their relationship with the Hershey Bears and Washington Capitals, it's first class. A storied organization, really ran well with ownership and management. It felt like a great opportunity, and, the timing was right. I felt like I'd been 6-7 years into coaching. I wanted the challenge of being a head coach, and for one day to be able to get back to the American League as a head coach, I didn't think it would happen this quickly, but I'm thankful that I did it. I learned a lot.
Let's chat about that. What were the conversations like when, I assume, Bernie reached out to you? I assume he was the first one that kind of broached that topic. How did that all spin? Because it seemed to happen relatively fast after the season concluded.
Yeah, it happened quick. I honestly can't. Obviously it was Bernie that reached out, which is another cool thing. I've known Bernie since he signed me as a player here. We've kept in touch. I think that's what Bernie does a really good job. He stays in touch with. There's a lot of former players that are coaches now. He keeps in touch with all of them. And then when it opened up, he asked if I'd be interested, and it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And the timing. I have a great relationship with Andrew Sorensen and with Mark Eaton. Worked with both of them, and to still know all the staff here. A lot of cool things about the job. But yeah, it did happen quickly, and like I said, I was really thankful.
What about the city of Rockford? What do you remember about being here in your playing days and now coming back as a coach? Have things shifted in your eyes a little bit, or what's your relationship with the town?
It's changed a lot. I loved it. It reminds me a lot of like the city, kind of the cities where I'm from in Michigan. Being it from the Midwest, so it kind of felt like I was home. It's a blue collar community, which I love. Passionate fan base. But I think I've said this before to you, Dana, that I think I was the first player to live downtown, and I'd walk to it was only 3-4 blocks away, just off Jefferson and Church. And now I think almost the whole team lives downtown. It just tells you in the last 10 years, the growth that downtown Rockford has had, and the different businesses and the restaurants that are popping up. It's neat to come back later and see the growth. And even in the last year, I've noticed a change. It's cool to be a witness to that.
Let's talk about the team that you've built and helped get going here into the month of October. How excited are you to work with this group of players that are a lot of young, budding superstars, or certainly that's what the Blackhawks fans are hoping, and then also a great leadership core of Brett Seney, Kevin Fitzgerald, Jackson Cates. How is that mishmash going to work together to be a success?
Yeah, I think successful teams at whatever level, it's crucial. You can't have success without great veterans and great leaders. We have that with Cates, Fitzgerald, Toninato, and Seney, and even guys like Nolan Allen that we have right now. He's down, but guys that are heart and soul, team first guys. That makes our job easier as coaches. And the history. Rockford's usually a young team. I don't think that's an excuse. I think we can still find success here. It's a great challenge. Ultimately us, as coaches and staff, we want to help these guys improve. So when they do get their opportunity with Chicago or wherever it is that they take a step. We're really, optimistic and excited to see this team get started.
I know that a lot of your job and your staff here is developing the talent to go on and hopefully have a lot of success with the Chicago Blackhawks. But I get a sense just from getting to know you over the last couple of months that you freaking love to win and you strive by it. How much pressure do you feel to pay it back to this fan base to make sure that not only are the prospects and the top players getting their points and their cookies, but that you guys are delivering victories for this fan base?
That would mean a lot. I think even some seasons where we maybe weren't near the top of the league, they'd still show up. I'd love to see this arena in mid to late May and into June, but it's a process. It's hard to win. I won't get fixated too much on talks about wins and losses, but just playing to our identity, and that's part of our job to establish early in the season. No matter what, I want us to be a tough out. We're playing the best team in the American League or any team, especially in the BMO. I want this to be a really difficult place to play, where teams have to be at their best to win. And I think when you have that approach and you build that culture and that identity, I think ultimately that leads to good things. But we're going to be big time focused on process over outcome. Sometimes losses are a blessing, and that's a lot of times where we learn the most as a team and as a staff. So we're gonna rally and embrace those tough times and get better for it.
Lastly, I want to ask you about the hockey community that you've built. You already touched on in this interview how 2 of your jobs really came from connections that you've made, reaching out. How tight-knit is this world that you've experienced with countless different teams that you've played for and coached for, and how much do you value that at this stage in your life?
It's like that probably with anything in life. I think you look back and you see how the dots connect. You can't predict. Especially here. I would never have thought that I'd be getting these opportunities. Just to get an opportunity to play pro hockey and then to coach pro hockey and then to come to an organization, like the Blackhawks and the Rockford IceHogs. It's wild. I mean, hockey's a really small world. Everybody says it, but it's pretty rare if you go into a new locker room. There's not 3 or 4 connections or connections of connections and people that are have relationships with people that So seems like the longer I go on, it just obviously it builds. But yeah, I've actually met a lot of radio guys, Dana. So I know
Hopefully
we've talked
good
about
things
that.
to say.
Yeah, all the games have been healthy scratched and color. So it's another cool aspect of it.
We're a weird folk. I think that's fair to say.
I like it. What does it say about me? I like it.
Well, hi, Jared. We're happy to have you here. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for the time. Best of luck Saturday, Sunday, and the rest of the way. It's going to be a great ride.
Thank you, Dana. Appreciate it.